An early version of an Army tactical missile system was tested on December 14, 2021, at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. An early version of an Army tactical missile system was tested on December 14, 2021, at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. John Hamilton/U.S. Army. Russia has vowed retaliation after claiming to have shot down 8 U.S.-made ATACMS missiles fired by Ukraine on Saturday morning. Moscow sees the use of such missiles, which have a range of up to 300 kilometers (186 miles), as a major escalation. The country's air defenses shot down the 8 ballistic missiles alongside 72 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, Russia's Ministry of Defense said. It added that these actions by the Kyiv regime, which is supported by Western curators, will be met with retaliation. The statement said several drones were destroyed in the Leningrad region in the northwest and one in Kursk, where Ukraine launched a surprise attack late last summer. The outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden approved Kyiv's use of ATACMS in November, saying in part it was in response to Russia expanding the conflict by deploying North Korean troops. Russian President Vladimir Putin has threatened to respond to Ukrainian strikes using ATACMS with Russia's new nuclear-capable ballistic missile, Orshnik. Residents and bomb squad members stand in front of a house destroyed by a Russian missile strike on Saturday. Residents and bomb squad members stand in front of a house destroyed by a Russian missile strike on Saturday. Maxim Kishka/Reuters. Last month, Putin suggested that it could be fired at the capital Kyiv as a test of Western-supplied air defense systems. The first and only launch of the experimental weapon targeted Ukraine's Dnipro region on the morning of November 21. The Ukrainian drone attacks forced temporary restrictions to be introduced at an airport in St. Petersburg, Russian state media agency TASS reported. Provided by the U.S. Army Sergeant Ian Ketterling, gunner for Alpha Battery, 1st Battalion, 3rd Field Artillery Regiment, 17th Field Artillery Brigade, prepares the crane for loading the Army Tactical Missile System, ATACMS, onto the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, HIMARS, in Queensland, Australia, on July 26, 2023. Ukraine is having some success in halting Russia's new push along the northeast front weeks after the decision, allowing the country to use U.S.-supplied weapons for limited strikes in Russian territory. But commanders say their hands are tied without the ability to use long-range guided missiles, such as ATACMS. Sergeant First Class Andrew Dixon/U.S. Army via AP. Related article. What the term escalation gets wrong about Ukraine striking Russia. The governor of Leningrad Oblast, Alexander Drozdenko, said in a statement on Telegram that the night and morning of January 4th were record-breaking in terms of the number of UAVs destroyed, with 4 shot down over his region. A Ukrainian security official, Andriy Kovalenko, said a seaport in Leningrad was targeted, calling it an instrument of economic and military survival for Russia in isolation. Meanwhile, Russia launched a total of 81 drones at Ukraine overnight on Friday into Saturday, according to Ukraine's Air Force Command, including Iranian-made Shahid drones and various types of imitation drones. Some 34 Shahid attack UAVs and other types of drones were downed, according to a statement, although the downed drones caused damage in the Chernihiv and Sumy regions. Ukraine enters the year on the back foot in the conflict, which began in February 2022, with Russia making gains on the eastern front lines. Russia's defense ministry said on Saturday that its forces had taken control of the village of Nadia in Ukraine's eastern Luhansk region. Donetsk, the hub of Pokrovsk, is under growing Russian pressure as Ukrainian forces lose ground to the south and east of the town. Ukraine is also concerned that the incoming Trump administration could cut vital military aid. Trump himself has vowed to end the conflict. On. Russia has announced its intention to retaliate after claiming to have intercepted 8 U.S.-made ATACMS long-range missiles. This development follows a series of missile strikes launched by Ukraine into Russian territory, marking a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between the two nations. The Kremlin has expressed strong condemnation of Ukraine's use of these advanced missiles, which it views as a direct provocation and a potential trigger for further military action. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that its air defense systems successfully shot down the missiles, which were reportedly fired from Ukraine towards the Bryansk region. This incident has heightened tensions, as it represents the first known use of ATACMS missiles by Ukraine in the conflict, a move that has been met with stern warnings from Moscow regarding the consequences of such actions. In response to these developments, Russian officials have indicated that they are prepared to take decisive measures, which could include increased military operations against Ukraine. The situation remains fluid, with both sides on high alert as the potential for further escalation looms large. The U.S. has been closely monitoring the situation, as the use of American-supplied weaponry in the conflict raises concerns about the broader implications for regional stability.